On Christmas Day, Nathan received not a gift from his wife Savannah, but divorce papers. Her family applauded, but Nathan smiled. He knew their secret. His gift ruined their conspiracy and changed everything. How did an ordinary guy from the suburbs outsmart everyone? Nathan, 32, owned a small air conditioning repair business in Phoenix, Arizona, where a relentless sun made his work essential. His days started at dawn, driving his pickup to clients' homes, fixing units with steady hands. He'd built his company from nothing, hiring 8 employees and earning a reputation for reliability. Last week, he'd stayed late to repair an elderly neighbor's AC for free, refusing her offer of payment with a quiet smile. "Just keep cool," he told her, wiping sweat from his brow. That act of kindness spread through the neighborhood, boosting his business with new referrals. Nathan's life seemed perfect. He'd married Savannah, a sharp, ambitious 30-year-old insurance claim specialist, 3 years ago. She was pursuing an MBA, aiming for a corporate career, and Nathan supported her fully, paying for her tuition, textbooks, and networking events. They'd bought a house in a gated Scottsdale community, the kind Savannah had always dreamed of, with a pool shimmering under the desert sky. Nathan handled the bills and business, while Savannah focused on her studies and climbing the corporate ladder. Their routine felt solid, like a well-tuned machine. But cracks were forming. Savannah grew distant, her warmth replaced by sharp critiques. "You're always working, Nathan," she snapped one evening, slamming her laptop shut. "Don't you ever think about more than fixing AC units?" Her words stung. His business funded her dreams, yet she acted like it was beneath her. Nathan brushed it off, assuming stress from her MBA was to blame. He doubled down, taking her to dinner at her favorite steakhouse, hoping to reconnect. She barely looked up from her phone, texting furiously, her face lit by the screen's glow. The first Repairman warning came with her phone. Savannah had never used a password before. They'd shared devices without a second thought. One night, Nathan reached for her phone to check the weather, but a lock screen stopped him. "It's for work security," she said when he asked, her tone clipped. "You wouldn't get it." He nodded, but doubt crept in. Why now? Her job hadn't changed. He noticed her clutching the phone tighter, angling it away when he was near. Then came the weekends. Savannah started leaving every Saturday, claiming her friend Emily needed her. "She's going through a messy divorce," Savannah explained, tossing clothes into an overnight bag. "I'm staying with her." At first, Nathan believed her. He knew divorce could shatter someone. His cousin had been through one. But the trips became a pattern. Every weekend, Savannah vanished until Sunday evening, returning distracted, her eyes avoiding his. He suggested inviting Emily over for dinner to meet her. "She's not up for that," Savannah shot back, zipping her bag. "She's private. You wouldn't understand." Suspicion gnawed at Nathan. He checked their joint credit card statements late one night, while Savannah was at a study group. The charges didn't add up. $200 at a downtown Hilton on a Saturday. She was supposedly at Emily's. A $150 dinner for 2 at an upscale restaurant. A boutique purchase from a store Savannah never mentioned. He confronted her about the hotel charge. Emily's place was being fumigated, she said smoothly, not meeting his eyes. "We had a crash there." When he pressed about the dinner, her face hardened. "God, Nathan, are you spying on me now? Emily and I went out. Is that a crime?" Her defensiveness was too polished, too quick. Nathan's years running a business had honed his ability to read people. Clients who lied about payment plans, employees cutting corners. Savannah's excuses felt rehearsed, like lines from a script. He stayed calm, nodding as if satisfied, but his mind raced. Something was wrong. He needed answers, not guesses. The breaking point came at Thanksgiving. The couple drove to Savannah's parents' sprawling home in Paradise Valley for the annual family dinner. Her sister, Lisa, was there with her husband, Jake, a tech startup CEO who loved boasting about disrupting industries. Nathan never liked Jake's slick demeanor, his pressed suits, and buzzwords grated, but he tolerated him for family's sake. During dinner, Savannah laughed too loudly at Jake's stories, her eyes lingering on him. Nathan noticed Jake's hand brush hers when passing a dish, a touch that lasted a beat too long. An hour later, Savannah stood abruptly. "Emily just called," she announced, grabbing her purse. "She's having a breakdown. I have to go." Before anyone could respond, Jake's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his face shifting to fake urgency. "Important client call," he said, heading for the backyard. They left within 2 minutes of each other. Savannah out the front door, Jake to the patio. Nathan excused himself to the bathroom, but instead peered through a window. Jake wasn't on a call. He was texting, a smug grin spreading across his face. Nathan's stomach churned. He'd trusted Savannah, believed in their life together. But the pieces were falling into place. The locked phone, the weekend disappearances, the credit card charges, and now this. He returned to the table, forcing a smile through the rest of dinner, but his mind was made up. He wouldn't confront her yet. He'd play the dutiful husband, but he'd start digging. If Savannah and Jake were hiding something, Nathan would find it, and he'd make sure they regretted underestimating him. Nathan's suspicion hardened into resolve after Thanksgiving. He wasn't the type to jump to conclusions, but the synchronized exits of Savannah and Jake screamed betrayal. He needed proof, not hunches. The next morning, he called his old friend Mike, a former coworker from trade school who now ran a small security firm. "I need you to tell someone," Nathan said, his voice steady but low. Discreetly. Mike agreed, no questions asked, and by noon, they were strategizing in the back of Nathan's shop, surrounded by humming AC units. Mike's first move was to track Savannah's weekend trips. That Saturday, Nathan texted her as usual, asking about her plans with Emily. "Just helping her through some stuff," she replied, her message clipped. Meanwhile, Mike parked outside the Hilton in downtown Phoenix, his camera ready. At 2:15 p.m., Savannah pulled into the hotel lot in her silver SUV. 10 minutes later, Jake arrived in his Tesla, scanning the area before heading inside. Mike snapped photos, Savannah checking in at the front desk, Jake lingering near the elevators, their hands brushing as they stepped inside together. The pattern repeated the next weekend. Mike's footage showed Savannah and Jake entering the same hotel, always within minutes of each other, emerging hours later. One shot caught Jake's arm around Savannah's waist in the lobby, her head tilted toward him, laughing. Nathan stared at the images on Mike's laptop, his jaw tight. "This isn't enough," he told Mike. "I need something undeniable." He wasn't just after confirmation of the affair. He wanted leverage to protect everything he'd built. Nathan turned to their shared digital accounts. Savannah had always been careless with logins, leaving her email open on their home computer. Late one night, while she was studying upstairs, he accessed her inbox. A search for Jake's name revealed a hidden folder labeled Work. Inside were dozens of emails, stretching back 6 months. The messages weren't about work. "Can't stop thinking about you," Savannah wrote in one. "Nathan's so caught up in his little business, he doesn't even notice me anymore." Jake's reply was worse. "Lisa's obsessed with the kids. You're the only one who gets me." They mocked Nathan's steady, unglamorous life while planning their next hotel rendezvous. One email stopped Nathan cold. Dated 2 weeks earlier, Savannah wrote, "Christmas dinner at my parents', we tell them then. Let's make it dramatic, shake things up." Jake responded, "Perfect. They'll see what real passion looks like." They were plotting to humiliate Nathan and Lisa in front of Savannah's family, turning the holiday into a stage for their affair. Nathan's hands shook as he forwarded the emails to a private account, saving screenshots. Rage simmered, but he pushed it down. Emotion wouldn't win this. He needed strategy. Nathan contacted a lawyer, Carla, who specialized in asset protection. "If divorce is coming," he told her, "I want my business and house untouchable." Carla outlined a plan. Create a family trust to shield his assets. Over coffee at a diner, she handed him documents that would transfer his company and property into the trust. Savannah, as his wife, had to sign, but Nathan knew she wouldn't read them. "More business stuff?" she sighed when he slid the papers across the kitchen table. She signed without a glance, distracted by her phone. "You really need to handle this yourself," she muttered. Nathan nodded, hiding his relief. Next, he dug into Jake's startup. A quick search on LinkedIn revealed Jake's company was struggling, despite his boasts about revolutionizing tech. Nathan's business instincts kicked in. He'd dealt with shady contractors before. He hired a forensic accountant, Sarah, to cross-reference Jake's hotel charges with his company's financials. Sarah found a gold mine. Jake was using corporate credit cards for personal expenses, including the Hilton stays. Fake invoices funneled money to accounts he controlled. "This isn't just infidelity," Sarah said, handing Nathan a report. "It's embezzlement." Nathan's plan took shape. He compiled Mike's photos, the damning emails, and Sarah's financial records into a single file, backed up on a USB drive. He wasn't just preparing to confront Savannah and Jake. He was building a case that could ruin them. But he played his part perfectly, acting the oblivious husband. When Savannah complained about her MBA workload, he brought her coffee. "You're killing it," he said, forcing a smile as she typed what he knew were messages to Jake. By mid-December, Nathan was ready. Savannah's weekend visits to Emily continued, and Jake kept posting about his startups, game-changing deals on social media. Nathan stayed silent, letting them think they were in control. He knew Christmas was their chosen stage, and he'd let them walk onto it, right into his trap. Every move he made tightened the net around them, and the thought of their smug confidence crumbling kept him focused. He wasn't just fighting for his marriage or his pride. This was about protecting his life's work and exposing their betrayal for what it was. Nathan's preparations were complete by mid-December, but he kept his cards close. Savannah and Jake's plan to unveil their affair at her parents' Christmas dinner loomed, and Nathan intended to turn their stage into his battlefield. He spent late nights in his office, organizing evidence. Mike's photos of their hotel meetups, incriminating emails exposing their mockery, and Sarah's report detailing Jake's embezzlement. Each piece was a brick in the wall he'd built to protect his future and dismantle their deception. To ensure his business and home were ironclad, Nathan met Carla again at her downtown office. She reviewed the family trust documents Savannah had signed without reading. "This locks your assets tight," Carla confirmed, flipping through the paperwork. "Any divorce settlement will hit a wall trying to touch your company or property." Nathan also restructured his business into an LLC, redirecting profits to a separate account Savannah couldn't access. He moved his personal savings to a new bank, leaving their joint account with just enough to avoid suspicion. Every step was calculated, legal, and invisible to his wife. Nathan's next move was to warn Lisa, Savannah's sister and Jake's wife, but he needed her to see the truth herself. He mailed her an anonymous envelope with a single photo of Jake and Savannah entering the Hilton, along with a note. "Check your husband's company expenses. Protect yourself." He didn't sign it, knowing Lisa's reaction would be more genuine if she uncovered the betrayal organically. Days later, Mike reported that Lisa had hired her own investigator, quietly digging into Jake's finances. Nathan nodded, satisfied she was preparing her own response. Savannah grew bolder as Christmas approached. She spent less time hiding her phone, assuming Nathan was clueless. One evening, while she showered, he noticed her laptop open on the kitchen counter. A quick check revealed a new email to Jake. "Christmas is our moment. We'll show them we're unstoppable." Nathan's pulse quickened, but he closed the laptop without a trace. Her confidence was her weakness, and he'd use it. He kept up his act, asking about her day, offering to drive her to Emily's on weekends. "You're so sweet," she said absently, her mind elsewhere. Jake, meanwhile, posted relentlessly online about his startup's breakout year. Unaware, Nathan had already shared Sarah's embezzlement report with a contact at the state attorney's office. The report detailed over $50,000 in misappropriated funds, tied directly to Jake's hotel stays and fake vendor payments. Nathan didn't need to push. The authorities would act once the evidence was public. He burned copies of his full dossier onto 3 USB drives, one for each package he'd prepared for the Christmas showdown. The day before Christmas, Nathan visited his shop to clear his head. His employees were wrapping up a busy season, and he handed out holiday bonuses, earning grateful handshakes. "You're the best boss, man," one said, unaware of the storm Nathan was bracing for. He drove home, mentally rehearsing the next day's moves. Savannah was packing for her parents' dinner, humming as she folded clothes. "Big day tomorrow," she said, her tone hinting at her planned bombshell. Nathan smiled. "Yeah, it'll be unforgettable." Christmas morning arrived, and Nathan loaded 3 gift-wrapped boxes into his truck. Each contained a USB drive, printed emails, photos, and Sarah's financial report. He labeled them for Savannah, Jake, and Lisa, ensuring the truth would hit all 3 at once. At the Paradise Valley house, Savannah's parents greeted him with their usual condescension. "Still fixing air conditioners, Nathan?" her father asked, pouring wine. Nathan shrugged, playing the part. "Keeps the lights on." Jake arrived with Lisa and their 2 kids, his grin smug as he shook Nathan's hand. Dinner unfolded with forced cheer. Savannah kept glancing at Jake, her fingers tapping her wine glass. Lisa seemed tense, her eyes darting to her husband. Nathan ate quietly, waiting for the moment. Halfway through dessert, Savannah stood, her posture theatrical. "Nathan, I have a gift for you," she said, sliding an envelope across the table. He opened it, revealing divorce papers, signed and notarized. Her parents clapped, their approval blatant. "You deserve better, honey," her mother said. Jake smirked, leaning back in his chair. Nathan didn't flinch. He reached under his seat, pulling out his 3 boxes. "Funny, I got gifts too," he said, his voice calm but sharp. He handed one to Savannah, one to Jake, and one to Lisa. "Open them together." Savannah tore into hers, expecting a desperate plea. Instead, she found the photos, her and Jake in the hotel lobby, his hand on her back. Her gasp was audible. Jake's box held the same, plus the embezzlement report. Lisa's contained the anonymous photo she'd already seen, now backed by the full dossier. The room froze, the clink of wine glasses silenced, as the truth landed like a grenade. The dining room erupted into chaos. Lisa lunged at Jake, her voice cracking as she screamed. "You were sleeping with my sister?" She clutched the photos from her gift box, shoving them in his face. Jake stammered, grabbing at the papers, but his hands trembled too much to hold them. Savannah stood frozen, the USB drive slipping from her fingers to the floor. Her parents, who moments ago had applauded her divorce announcement, sat speechless, their wine glasses forgotten. Nathan leaned back in his chair, watching the unraveling with a calm he'd honed over weeks of planning. "You knew," Savannah hissed at Nathan, her voice low and venomous. "You set us up." Nathan met her gaze, unblinking. "You set yourselves up," he said. "I just brought the receipts." He stood, addressing the room. "Those drives have everything. Photos, emails, and proof Jake's been stealing from his company to fund your hotel stays." Lisa's head snapped toward Jake. "Stealing? You used our kid's future for this?" Her voice broke, and she stormed out, clutching her box, the kids trailing behind her, confused. Jake tried to salvage the moment, turning to Savannah's father. "This is a misunderstanding. I can explain the finances." But Nathan cut him off. "Explain it to the state attorney. They've had my report for a week." Jake's face drained of color. Savannah's mother gasped, her hand flying to her chest. "You involved the police?" she asked Nathan, as if he'd betrayed the family. "Your daughter and her lover planned to humiliate me tonight," Nathan replied. "I protected myself. That's not a crime." Nathan walked out, leaving the chaos behind. He drove home, the desert night air cool against his skin through the open truck window. His phone buzzed, Mike, his investigator, checking in. "Heard it went down," Mike said. "You okay?" Nathan exhaled. Better than them. He hung up and focused on the road, already planning his next steps. The evidence he'd shared wasn't just for the family. It was a legal grenade, primed to detonate. Within days, the fallout began. Lisa filed for divorce, her attorney using Nathan's evidence to secure full custody of her kids and a restraining order against Jake. She texted Nathan a brief thank you for the anonymous tip. "I owe you." Jake's startup imploded when investors, tipped off by the state's investigation, demanded audits. By New Year's, he was fired, facing criminal charges for embezzlement. Court documents later showed he'd siphoned $75,000, much of it spent on Savannah. The scandal hit local news, with headlines branding him a tech fraudster. Savannah's world collapsed faster. Her employer, a major insurance firm, fired her when the affair went viral on Phoenix's business community forums. No one wanted a claims specialist tied to a public scandal. She applied for corporate jobs, but found doors closed. Her MBA incomplete, her reputation trashed. By February, she was working part-time at a mall boutique, her dreams of a corner office buried under the weight of her choices. She moved into her parents' guest room, their support now tinged with disappointment. Nathan's life, meanwhile, surged forward. The scandal boosted his business. Clients admired his calculated response to betrayal. A local hotel chain, impressed by his story, signed a 6-figure contract for his company to maintain their HVAC systems. "You're a guy who keeps his cool," the chain's manager said, shaking Nathan's hand. "That's who we trust." Nathan hired 3 new technicians to handle the workload, his shop buzzing with activity. He kept the Scottsdale house, the trust ensuring Savannah couldn't touch it. Social media amplified the story. A local blogger posted about Nathan's Christmas takedown, framing him as a working-class hero who outsmarted a corporate conman. The post racked up thousands of shares, bringing more clients to his door. Nathan didn't engage online. He let the truth speak for itself. But he read the comments, smiling at one. This guy's a legend. Betray him, and he'll bury you with paperwork. Savannah's parents tried to reach out, leaving voicemails about family healing. Nathan deleted them. They'd cheered his humiliation, and he owed them nothing. He focused on his business and himself, joining a gym and signing up for a community college course in business management to sharpen his skills. The man who'd once been mocked for just fixing ACs was now a respected entrepreneur, his name synonymous with resilience. By March, the legal system tightened its grip. Jake's trial date was set, with prosecutors citing Nathan's evidence as key to their case. Savannah faced a civil suit from Lisa, who accused her of fraud for using joint account funds for the affair. The court ordered Savannah to pay $15,000 in restitution, draining her savings. Nathan watched from a distance, his life untouched by their collapse. He'd built his empire on honesty and hard work. Now it was their turn to face the consequences of their lies. Nathan stood in his shop's break room, handing out coffee to his crew before the day's rush. It was late March, 3 months since the Christmas showdown that shattered Savannah and Jake's lives. His business was thriving, with 2 new vans parked outside, emblazoned with his company logo. The Scottsdale house, now his alone, felt lighter without Savannah's presence. He turned a guest room into a home office, where he tracked contracts and planned expansion. But the past wasn't done with him yet. One afternoon, as Nathan finished a quote for a new client, Savannah appeared at a coffee shop across from his shop. She slid into the booth opposite him, uninvited, clutching a to-go cup. "I messed up, Nathan," she said, her voice small. "Can we talk?" He set down his pen, studying her. She wasn't the confident woman who'd served him divorce papers. Her eyes were tired, her posture defeated. He let her speak, knowing she'd rehearsed this. "I was wrong," she continued, twisting the cup's lid. "Jake was a mistake. I thought he was my future, but I see now how much I hurt you." She leaned forward, reaching for his hand. Nathan pulled back, his expression neutral. "I want to fix this," she said. "We could start over." Her words hung in the air, a plea wrapped in desperation. Nathan sipped his coffee, letting the silence stretch. He'd anticipated this moment, prepared for it like every other move in his plan. "You didn't just hurt me," he said finally, his tone even. "You planned to humiliate me in front of your family. You mocked my work while I paid for your dreams." Savannah flinched, her fingers tightening on the cup. "I know," she whispered. "I was stupid, caught up in his promises." Nathan shook his head. "You chose him over honesty. That's not a mistake, it's a decision." He stood, sliding his notebook into his pocket. "We're done, Savannah. We were done the moment you and Jake plotted your big reveal." She called after him as he walked out, but he didn't turn back. The encounter solidified what he'd known since Christmas. His future was his to build, free of her shadow. He drove to a meeting with a local charity, where he'd started offering free AC repairs for low-income families. The initiative, sparked by his own experience helping his neighbor, had grown, earning him a feature in a Phoenix community newsletter. "You're doing real good," the charity's director told him, shaking his hand. Nathan nodded, focused on the work, not the praise. Meanwhile, the legal consequences tightened around Savannah and Jake. Jake's trial began in April with Nathan's evidence, hotel receipts, falsified invoices, and bank records, central to the prosecution's case. Jake pleaded guilty to embezzlement, hoping for leniency, but the judge sentenced him to 18 months in prison and ordered $80,000 in restitution to his investors. Lisa, now a single mother, rebuilt her life, using her divorce settlement to start a small bakery. She sent Nathan a box of cupcakes with a note. "Thanks for giving me the truth. I'm moving on." Savannah's fall continued. The $15,000 restitution she owed Lisa forced her to sell her car, leaving her dependent on her parents' charity. Her job at the boutique barely covered her bills, and her MBA program dropped her for non-payment. A former colleague posted about her on a local business forum, warning others about her role in the scandal. The post spread, closing more doors. Savannah's parents, once her biggest cheerleaders, grew distant, their disappointment evident in their curt messages to Nathan, which he ignored. Nathan's business, by contrast, soared. The hotel chain contract led to deals with 2 more commercial clients, doubling his revenue. He hired a part-time accountant to manage the growth, freeing him to focus on strategy. At a local business expo, he gave a talk on resilience, sharing how he'd protected his assets without naming Savannah or Jake. The audience applauded, and several attendees approached him for partnerships. "You turned a crisis into a win," one said, handing him a card. Nathan pocketed it, already planning his next pitch. By May, Nathan launched a scholarship fund for trade school students, inspired by his own path. He donated $10,000 to kick it off, hosting a small event at his shop. The local news covered it, framing him as a model of integrity. Clients flooded his inbox, drawn to his story of outsmarting betrayal with discipline. He kept his personal life private, declining interviews that probed too deeply. His focus was forward, building, not dwelling. One evening, as Nathan locked up his shop, he got a text from Mike. "Saw Savannah at the mall. She asked about you. Told her you're unstoppable." Nathan smiled, pocketing his phone. He didn't need revenge anymore. His life was proof of his victory. Savannah and Jake had gambled on his naivety, but he'd played the smarter game. As he drove home under the Arizona stars, he felt no anger, only clarity. The man they'd underestimated had built something stronger than their lies could ever touch.